It is another interesting edition of the Market Review where we discuss key developments in the financial and capital market as it affects the economy. Today, we'll be focusing on the role of investment advisors in improving capital market participation. And my guest is the president of the Association of Corporate and Individual Investment Advisors, Mr. Akin Adeniyi. Nice to have you on the program.
Yes, thank you very much, Chutu. It's a nice to be here.
Thank you. Before we begin the conversation, let us give you a wrap-up of key developments that occurred in the market last week. The Securities and Exchange Commission hosted the third and last Capital Market Committee meeting for the year 2021, where they discussed matters around the implementation of the Capital Market Master Plan, the FinTech Roadmap, the Commodities Trading Ecosystem Roadmap, and other salient matters relating to the capital market and the economy. The CMC is an industry-wide committee comprising members of the SEC, representatives of the capital market operators and trade groups, and other stakeholders. Also last week, United Bank for Africa PLC successfully raised $300 million through its recently announced GMTN program. The global offering presents 5-year senior unsecured notes listed on the London Stock Exchange and was the first issue out of the newly established $1.5 billion global medium-term note program established in November 2021. We go on a break, and when we return, we will continue the conversation.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content, watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back, and if you're joining us, it's the Market Review, and my guest is Mr. Akin Adeniyi, president of the Corporate and Individual Investment Advisors in Nigeria, discussing the role of investment advisors in improving capital market participation. So, Mr. Akin Adeniyi, let's first understand the role of investment advisors. Why do we need an investment advisor?
Interesting question. There are quite a number of reasons why everybody needs an investment advisor. Probably that we cannot finish discussing here. But I'll give you like 4, okay? Let's start with expertise. Expertise in the buy side of the market. So your investment advisor, by their training, they bring a lot of expertise to the table. Depth of knowledge. Most of the issues that investors probably do not have knowledge of or are not aware of, advisors by their training bring such expertise to the table. Then I'll talk quickly also about objectivity. As we say, the psychology of the market is about greed and fear. Just right in between this is objectivity. So it is the role of the advisor also to handhold the investor or the prospective investor to find an objective position in the market. Then there's a discipline, all right? Most times, of course, if you understand the movement of the market always moves in cycles, and you have investors that are always capitulating. There's also the role of the advisor to ensure that, by what they do, by the process of their services, they're handholding the investor. They understand the risk tolerance of the investor. They understand so many things about the investor when you do your profiling. And so we say that the advisor understands the bad times of the investor. So you can keep the investor in check, not to capitulate in most times when there is turbulence in the market. And then, of course, time savings. When you look at the number of asset classes, investment strategies that you have to deal with, we have the depth of knowledge in this And instead of the investor bothering himself or herself about doing all the work by themselves, the advisor is saddled with such responsibilities. So let me just stop there. And I'm sure you are aware that we're having a webinar coming up next Friday.
Yeah, definitely. This coming Friday. So definitely there'll be a lot of opportunities for people to engage. Now let's also look at what stands investment advisory apart from other capital market rules, because it's very important. Everything gears towards deepening capital market participation.
Okay. Well, we all understand the structure of the market. The market has a buy side to it. The market has a sell side to it. All right? And every market has its own peculiarities. So, straight to your question, what is it that stands investment advisory services apart? The buying side of the market is the surplus side. That is the owners of the assets, the owners of the funds that they want to deploy into investments. And that is the side of the market we can afford the least of errors. So it behooves on advisors to play with ultimate trust in the market. And that is why we are, raising the awareness, trying to make the entire market, know what we are doing, that in going into the market, you need a trusted partner in terms of appropriate capital allocation, all right? If you talk about diversification, these things are methodical and often technical. So it is the sensitivity of the buy side of the market that requires that expertise, the depth of knowledge, and the appropriateness of processes, that makes advisory services stand very, very much apart from all other rules. All right. Well, like I said earlier on, there's more, for people to learn at the webinar.
Yeah, definitely. Our viewers will know that on Friday there's going to be a webinar, and you will be getting to understand what investment advisors do. That's coming up 11 a.m. West African time, and the conversation. Just log on to www.prochange.com to get further insights on that. Let's look at, of course, that the CIIA is a very critical strategic group when it has to do with the financial and capital market. And there is the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, the CISM Bill, which is also trying to integrate other rules, other associations into that legislation. But what is the CIIA? Have you been engaged further on the updated plan to review that bill? Has your association been engaged?
Okay, coming to that question, it's always been a very, very interesting one. But you see, as you said, the interesting thing about it is that everybody has the same objective, the development of the market. But we have different rules that we play, all right? So we are trying to find a convergence, sort of a common position on how to move forward on that. The objective of the bill itself is to ensure, professionalism, all right, that people who provide financial advice are well trained. Yes. But when you look at most capital market operators, you discover that everybody has their, orientation from different perspectives. Yeah. But what I can assure you is that the CIIA has been engaging the body of the stockbrokers. Mm-hmm. We've had several meetings, very useful discussions, and at the end of the day, I believe that everybody will find a common ground. So we are very open and we are supportive of any idea that provides support towards market development.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that, Mr. Adeniyi, because recently I engaged the chairman of the House Committee on Capital Markets, Honorable Babangida Omar, in a program and asked him about the CISM bill, and he said they are extending the engagements with all key stakeholders, and even the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, has also made its own observations. So hopefully what is being represented again for reading will be a more comprehensive legislation, because like you rightly said, the experience of 2008 market crisis calls for more certified professional financial and capital market experts in advisory role so that people make the right investment decisions, which is very
Yes, you're correct. Yeah. That particular incident you just mentioned now, that's 2008, 2009 global financial meltdown, was a turning point for most other markets. And you begin to see a lot of changes. Like I always say to people, I think the finance and investment industry is perhaps the most dynamic in terms of evolution when it comes to the different professions that we have. So maybe in Nigeria we have been a little bit slow, tardy on that reaction to necessary changes. But we are moving on. So on that particular bill, a lot of engagement is going on with most of our CMOs. Trade groups, yeah.
The trade groups, very, very, very important. And of course, when you look at the GIBS, the Global Investment Performance Standards, which of course CIIA is a major key player in terms of advocacy for, how has it been so far? I mean, the presentations, your engagement has been very interesting, but has that really helped to position Nigeria to attract more critical investments and also become that mainstay of attracting more key inflows into the economy and the market?
Okay, two important things I would like to say is that first and foremost, the awareness is very much there in Nigeria. The interest is very, very, very keen, and I think it was about 2-3 months ago, around August, if I remember very well, August 11, just about 3 months ago, that we had a public forum with FMAN on the importance of GIBS, which was very well attended, and it shows you the enthusiasm. And again, in Nigeria, I'm not so sure that you are aware, there are 2 firms that have already claimed compliance.
Wow.
So what we expect now, yes, that's why I said, there are positive developments. And also, there are more interest, firms showing interest on how to claim compliance. But in terms of its, should I say, role or effect in bringing in funds flow, well, maybe we shouldn't be so much in a hurry. It's a process. And I can also tell you that GIBS is not one of those standards that is very easy to comply with. It's a back-breaking exercise, I must call it that. So maybe in another, say 3 to 5 years, I can assure you that we begin to see its expected positive impact.
I can reckon with that, because having 2 already is progress, and we hope to see more.
Yes, it's great progress.
Yes, it's progress. We hope to make that. Now let's go on to your advocacy. I mean, like the town hall that's going to come up on Friday. You've had previous ones already. It was interesting. I mean, the story we wrote, I mean, looking at reporting that this conversation around Ponzi scheme, it shows a lot that we need to learn a lot. We need more market education. So how is CIIA also partnering with other key stakeholders and SEC to drive investor education, which is very key in Nigeria?
Well, that's another major role that we are playing. Like this, our advisor town hall, it's a series. It's every quarter. So we've had 2. And we have the town hall meetings in 2 broad categories. There is the market development session that speaks to the role of advisors in market development generally, right? And then there is the practice development session that speaks to the role of advisors themselves. That is the discipline, the ethics, the standards that you must operate by in the market. And so the next Friday edition is the very first practice development session. All right. So we are making it part of our enlightenment program, provide very key, very vital information to the entire market, at least to the audience that will be on the call. And then the things to look out for. how you can identify a good investment advisor, how you can select an investment advisor. And when you mentioned financial education and inclusion, it is a lifetime venture. It's not a one-off thing, all right? That is why the advisor is always there for you at every point in time. And then there are procedures also that you can change advisors, all right? So it's very much like selling products, buying and selling. No, it's about counseling. The advisor understands you very well. Like I said earlier on when we started, he knows your bad times. He knows how to hold you and hold the situation down. So by and large, it is a consistent part of our objectives in CIIA. Continuous, training, information provision, and public enlightenment as far as investing is concerned.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And in terms of your membership and in terms of partnerships, how has it been? I mean, what's your membership strength like? And in terms of partnerships, are we seeing more prospects for strategic partnerships, particularly international associations, which help to broaden your scope and linkage?
Okay. All right. Of course, all those programs are in the pipeline. Membership is growing gradually. I must let you know that most people, the investing public at large, when you say a large percentage, have not really been familiar with advisors and what advisors do. And that was what informed the team next. Yes. Now, at the last town hall that we had a poll. And then, of course, we saw the result. 77% of people on the call said, look, they are either not aware of advisor or maybe they've heard about them vaguely and they've never had anything to do with them. So it shows you the amount of work before us at the CIIA. But by God's grace, we are living up to it.
Yeah, that's very important, and we just trust that with what is happening, the advocacy, and of course the focus on investor education, and also how you're also pushing, and we now have two institutions that are GIPS compliant. Definitely, there's much space to deepen the role of the investment advisors in improving our capital market. But let me just ask you as we wrap up, what do you see as the outlook for our financial and capital market as the year rounds? So we're entering the last month of the year. How would you see the prospect ahead? What are the key factors that will make the market continue to flow as it is?
Well, as you must know, the market is never predictable. We can always borrow ideas from here and there and see what lies ahead. In the last couple of days, the market has been bullish. In the last few hours, it's been bearish. So just anything can happen. But as far as the incoming year, definitely we should all look towards the implementation of the budget. That's a major factor in the direction of the economy and how it plays out. The macro issues are always very, 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 very important. Of course, if you've seen the latest around exchange rates, it's been improving slightly, all right? So we expect that maybe by the next time the MPC comes up with their projections and announcements, we also begin to see some improvements in the area of interest rates. But by and large, we should hang our hopes, our aspirations on how our budget, is implemented. That will definitely be my take. So fingers crossed.
Okay, fingers crossed, and we hope that, of course, like you said, clarity in policy, the budget implementation
is very key.
Very, very key in that regard. Very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Akin Adeniyi, President, Association of Corporate Investment Advisors in Nigeria. We really appreciate you for the role you play in driving advocacy for the markets, and we wish you all the best as you plan your third advocacy roundtable, the town hall, as you bring it down. You know, most times professionals have a way of making it very voluminous or verbose, grammarians, but you're now bringing it down to what the investment advisors do, so people can now understand better and see how they can engage you. And that again is something we look at.
Very spot on.
Yes. So
one of the things that you can also expect is, you know, as we have been planning in CIIA, try as much as possible to use less of investment jargons.
yeah,
Just bring the terminologies down to everybody's level.
yeah, definitely, and that's how you improve the market participation, capital market participation, which of course the CIIA has a role for. So for our viewers, definitely it's happening on Friday, and you can log on to www.prochange.com and click on the search bar, what the investment advisors do. When you click on it, you'll see our story around the CIIA event, and of course, when you go down, you click on register here, you can participate in that webinar. Thank you once again, Mr. Adeniyi, and we hope to have you subsequently to discuss around the role of investment advisors in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me, and I wish you the rest of the very best of the rest of the day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
And that will be all for this edition of the Market Review. We had a very interesting conversation on the role of investment advisors in improving capital market participation. If you have questions or comments or suggestions on this topic, send your views, questions or suggestions to otobasi.abasecon@prochange.com. We'll be glad to respond to you based on what you sent to us. Also, you can follow our website, www.prochange.com. Just talked about it. The town hall, the session of the CIIA is holding on Friday by 11 a.m. Or click on our website to follow the updates and, of course, register and participate in that webinar. Also, you can follow our social media platforms displayed on the screen to give you all the latest updates in the financial and capital market. Till we come your way again, please stay safe.